Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
What's going on, guys? It's Steve. So today we have another person. This is by far the worst. The reason is because people were defending me yesterday, calling this guy out because this is not the first time he said some crazy things and then he goes against what he said. For example, just some context, Michael C3. Now, keep in mind, this is all love. But this guy yesterday, man, I had to stop replying because it was so ridiculous. On some videos, he'll sit there and say, Melo's out of his prime. He's not as good as he used to be. He's old and he sucks. And then on other videos, he'll sit there and say Melo's still in his prime. And then yesterday, he goes on. And boy, oh boy, I'm going to read you guys the comments. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. He said, this, by the way, this was on my DeMar DeRozan drops 40 points. And pretty much a background to this is I said DeMar DeRozan is top 15. And there's a freaking truck outside. DeMar DeRozan is top 15. And I said the only superstars in the league are Melo, LeBron, Russ, James Harden, CP3. I'm trying to remember everyone I said. I know I'm forgetting. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Okay. And this is what he said. I agree with the superstars you named. But Melo and CP3 might be exiting their prime. That just like Dwyane did a few years ago. The upcoming superstars to me, well, that part is irrelevant because he just talked about Anthony Davis, Kawhi, whatever, and Damian Lillard and things like that. But that's not really the focus of this video. This is what he's, and then I reply, this is me being unbiased. Melo had 21 points in 3 quarters last night. And in the other 3 games, he played extremely well in the first half until the coaches benched him. So I think Melo is still in his prime, and to be honest, he's proving it. He honestly is. He's averaging, I think, 22, 5, and 3 right now on, you know, like 31 minutes per game. So imagine if that goes up to like 36 or 37. He'd be averaging like 27, 8, and 5, just like I predicted. And then I said, and to be honest, Chris Paul is still the best pure point guard in the world and definitely a top 10 player in the league still. And then he said, I said might, and exiting as in a season or 2 due to their age and how neither of them are winners, or at least come playoff time. This is the thing. Has Michael C3 not said that Melo was out of his prime on so many other videos before? He said on so many occasions that Carmelo Anthony is out of his prime. And then on top of that, he said, okay, neither of them are winners when it comes playoff time. Okay, so by that logic, everyone in the NBA, besides the team that wins the championship, is not a superstar because they don't win when it comes playoff time. Because winning is winning the championship, right? So if you don't win the championship, then you're not a winner. Which means, according to Michael, you're out of your prime. Let's move on. I'm going to just try to scroll through and just read some of the things. Okay, this is what he said. Notice how you're so defensive over me saying that. Then you say you're not biased. A superstar top 20 player of all time, top 10 talent-wise of all time, won't miss the playoffs 3 years in a row in his prime. Are you serious with these freaking trucks, man? Jeez. Freaking college, dude. What the fuck? A superstar top 20 player of all time, top 10 talent-wise of all time, won't miss the playoffs 3 years in a row. In his prime, no matter what the teammates. Okay. 3 years in a row, no matter what the teammates. Okay, let's look at Kevin Garnett. 05, 06, and 07 missed the playoffs. But according to Michael C3, which is, by the way, that's 3 years in a row, according to Michael C3, Kevin Garnett is not only better than Melo, but a top 15 player of all time. So by that logic, Kevin Garnett is not a superstar. He's not top 10 talent-wise of all time, and he's not even top 25 in terms of a player of all time, according to Michael's logic. Now let's look at other superstars that have missed the playoffs. Okay, we got Kobe Bryant, who missed it in 05. We have Dwyane Wade. We have LeBron James in his first 2 years. There was a point in time when Melo had more playoff appearances than LeBron, than D. Wade. But, you know, of course, that doesn't matter. You know, here's the thing. Kobe only missed it for 1 year because his team built around him faster than the Knicks built around Melo. Part of that reason is Kobe asked for a trade, and they were like, okay, we'll get you players. Melo sat there and said, I'm never leaving New York. So now they're going to be lackadaisical and be slow. Let's continue and move on. Okay, I'm trying to just... Okay, he said... Okay, Kobe only has 1 MVP. Okay, so we started talking about, you know, he brought up the point, like, how come Melo has no MVPs, no All-NBAs and things like that. And this is what I said. Okay, hold on. I just lost the freaking comment. Okay. KD, and then I said, you know what? That's because in Melo's era, first of all, he played in the Western Conference, and second of all NBA first teams for the most part, you know, it goes to whoever's team does the best. And to be honest, Melo's team only finished, I think, second seed in the Western Conference 1 year. You know, so there's that. But then on top of that, you have the league at times, they give it to 3 big men. Shaq, Dirk, and Tim Duncan. What about that? But no, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And then he goes on to say this. This is something that also made me really crack up. I'm trying to find it. Okay. Okay. Here he goes. Okay, so he said, this is what I said. So, oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but he said, again, KD, Wade have all have the accolades to make up for it. Melo's not a winner at all, so either way, he's screwed. His stats are the only thing that make him look good, and most of that is scoring. And he said Kobe actually had, this is gonna really expose his double standardness. He says Kobe actually played with literal scrubs. Melo had decent players, and also Kobe and Garnett played in the Wild West. You even said that. Okay. So he says Kobe and KG only missed the playoffs because they played in the Wild West. What time period was that? Wasn't that from 2003 to 2010 when Melo went 7 straight years in the playoffs in the Western Conference? 7 straight years in the playoffs, not missing one single time in the Wild West? But you want to give this excuse to Kobe and Kevin Garnett? But when it helps Melo out, because he has never missed it in the Western Conference, what is that? Does that matter? And then he had to sit there and say, Kobe played with literal scrubs. Melo only had Allen Iverson for 1 season. I know he had Kmart and J.R. Smith and Chauncey, but are you really going to sit there and compare that to the players that Kobe has had in terms of Pau Gasol, in terms of Andrew Bynum and Derek Fisher, in terms of what Tim Duncan had and Tony Parker, Manu, Dirk Nowitzki, who he had with Jason Terry? Are you going to sit there and compare that to Chauncey Billups, who was 5 years removed from his prime at that time? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then I said, Melo had decent players. I am done. End of the conference. As soon as he said that, I was like, I'm done. And then I said, so if KG and Kobe played in the Wild West, and so did Melo, but yet Melo made the playoffs all 7 years he was in the West, but Kobe and KG missed it, what does that say? Now, a lot of people also don't understand. Before Melo came to the Nuggets, they were winning like 12 games a year, and then he turned it around to 30 plus, to 40 plus, to 50. You know what I'm saying? And then this is what he says. No, you're trying to put words in my mouth. I'm not even saying... I'm saying even though Kobe only has 1 MVP, he has many accolades to make up for it. Rings do have a big part, but don't even bring up that Horry and Russell shit. Okay, because he brought up rings, and I was saying, you know, oh, well, you know, so what if you have rings? So what? You know, Bill Russell has 11. Robert Horry has 7. Are they better than Kobe, MJ? You know what I mean? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? So that ring is BS, dude. But anyway, talent alone, Russell and Horry weren't near Kobe. Rings are extra to show how great a player is. Without all the championships, Russell wouldn't be called one of the best, and Horry would be completely irrelevant. You are down arguing me, since you know I'm going to prove you wrong if I haven't. How did you I just proved you wrong. You literally sat there and said KG and Kobe missed the playoffs because they played in the Wild West, which was the same time period Carmelo Anthony played in the Wild West, but Melo made the playoffs every single year, and they didn't. So what does that say? What does that say? Oh my gosh, man. This is ridiculous, dude. And then he says, again, Kobe and KG had literal scrubs when they missed the playoffs. Melo had Billups, Iverson. Melo had Billups. Melo only had Chauncey Billups for his last 3 seasons in Denver. What about the other 4? What about those other 4 seasons? What about how he turned them around and won 25 more games than they did last year, the season prior to his signing as a rookie, and then making the playoffs all set? What about that? I can't, man. I can't, man. And then he wants to bring this up. And then he also says, oh, well, Melo in his recent years with the Knicks have had really good role players. Okay. Let's talk about how he changes his words again. on my other videos, he comments and he says, Melo had no help. He had Jose Calderon as his starting point guard, which is the only reason why he had a career high in assists. So by saying that, you're saying Jose Calderon is so garbage, that's why Melo led his team in passing. That's what you're saying. But now you're sitting there saying he had decent role players. Make up your mind. Make it up. Anyway. And then he goes on to say, no, I said Calderon was a scrub. I always said Aflalo, Porzingis, Lopez were pretty good role players. You just trying to mix up my words so it seems like I'm stupid. What a great YouTuber you are that you try to make your subscribers look like idiots so your ego can become even bigger. You came at me. You came at me. And first of all, I have no ego. I'm a humble ass motherfucker. Again, before every of these videos I say it's all love. But you came at me. I replied saying not to be biased, but Melo's proving that I was right. And then you came at me with all this BS. You're always changing your words. You're always nitpicking what I say. And then let's go on. And then he says, bruh, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not saying just because Melo hasn't won a ring means he sucks. Malone and Stockton got there many times and have a bunch of accolades to back it up. The amount of times you change up my words are ridiculous. And then he says, and then I said, you know what? Let's just end the conversation there. Don't take it that way. You know, it's all love. Let's end it there. Because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So we ended it there, and then that's pretty much it. And he said, I lost that debate. Okay. I know this was all over the place, but bear with me. How the hell did I lose that debate when I literally sat there and proved you wrong? You sat there and told me that Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant missed the playoffs because they played in the Wild Wild West. But the fact that Melo never missed the playoffs, yo, this fucking stupid internet, man. Internet Explorer garbage. But the fact that Melo didn't miss the playoffs in the Wild Wild West, that's irrelevant to you. So there's that double standardness. And then, oh jeez, he goes on to say Melo had decent teammates. Okay, let's look at the years that Melo actually had decent players. And then he said, oh, he also said this. I forgot to read this comment. I kind of skimmed through it. He also said this. He said, Melo had decent role players in New York. He had JR, Tyson Chandler, Amon Shumpert, and J.R. Smith, right? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. And what happened that year when they had really good role players? Weren't they the second seed in the Eastern Conference? Didn't that happen? But no, that doesn't matter. You know, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant that they were the second seed in the Eastern Conference when he actually had good role players. Or what about the time they were second seed in the Western Conference and they went to the Western Conference Finals the year they had Chauncey, Kmart, Birdman, J.R. Smith? What about that? But no, Melo can't win. Melo has always had good teammates. The funny thing is Melo has had more playoff experience than LeBron if you exclude the last 3. Well, actually, not even 3. If you take away the last 2 years he missed, not even the 3. If you take away the last 2 years, he would have the same amount of playoff appearances as LeBron James. That's actually 11. Let me do the math. Hold on. 2003, 2013, 10. LeBron has 11. He only had. All you have to do is take away one playoff experience, one playoff appearance by LeBron, and they have the exact same amount. Which means Melo at one point in time was 2 years more experience in the playoffs than LeBron James. But yet somehow, some way, he can't win. He played in the Wild West with a garbage team, which is why he forced that trade, with a garbage team, and he still made the playoffs in the Wild Wild West, something that Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bean Bryant couldn't do for their entire career in the Western Conference. That alone says a lot. I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's been Steve. Peace.
Ocean empty.